Tom, just what can you say about Derrick and what he was able to give you tonight?
Well, I mean, you're just happy for him because this guy has been through a lot, and I think he's having a great season for us. This is the first year in 5 years he didn't have to go through rehab in the summer. I know the person that he is, the character that he has, and it shines through.
It seemed like at the end of the game, all of his teammates are swarming him. There are a bunch of NBA players across the league tweeting about him and how happy they are. Does that just speak to the connection he has?
The people that know him, right, they know the character that he has. When Derrick was the MVP of the league, right, his teammates loved him, right? He has courage, he has humility, and he has character, right? So, like sometimes, he's been through a lot of adversity. He's probably maybe one of the most mentally tough people that I've ever come across. He's got great awareness. He knows what's happening everywhere. He knows who's doing what. He knows who's saying what, right? I believe in this guy. I've known him a long time, and I said this many times, when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in this league.
Tom, what's it like at the end of the game? You see he's like overcome with emotion. For you, somebody who does know that everything he's been through, how does that make you feel?
The thing is that I love about it is I think that's a reflection of his peers and how they feel about him. And so they know him best. They're around him every day. They see the actions. They see who he is as a person. And I've said this, I've seen Derrick have that same emotion when he scored 4 points and we won. And the only thing that really matters to him is that you win, right? And he's just as happy for his teammates when they do well as he is for himself. The most important thing for him tonight, and he said this to me before the game, is to win. So, and it's a reflection, of really who he is. And I'm just thrilled for him because I know how much work he's put into it. And I'm thrilled for us because obviously we need the wins.
Having watched him play for so long, at what point in the night did you maybe start to think that, hey, something special might be happening here?
Well, he's been super aggressive from the start of the season. And, again, I saw it, when he was 22, and he did it every night. Like it was like that every night. And so, and the thing that I respect the most about his willingness to share, to do what's right. You don't have to have a lot of rules with Derrick, right? He's going to do the right thing. He's going to put the team first.
When you think back on this game in the future, what will you remember that drive right at Gobert in the final minute?
Yeah, he made big play after big play, and we need it. It's been choppy. We talked about, it's a long season. There's a lot of lessons to be learned. The Laker game, that was a great win. Jimmy made a lot of big plays to get that win. Then you got to bounce back. The next game, you get Wig back. We get a few other guys that are out, and you just got to find a way to win the game. And that's what I'm proud of. I think being mentally tough when you face adversity is huge. It usually determines success. So you have to know how to pick yourself up. And we had a number of guys, and I don't want to, and obviously Derrick getting 50, but Wig coming back and playing the way he did. Cat was terrific. Another big night, big rebounding night, 4 assists, the blocks, a lot more than just scoring the ball. C.J. Williams going in there and giving us minutes at the point. I mean, it just tells you like his readiness to play. James Nunley gave us good minutes. Anthony, Gorgie. We had everyone step up, and Josh would, he had a tough cover, and he battled throughout. And this is the plus, is that when you do have guys that are out, it's an opportunity for other guys to step up. And so, we know that it doesn't get easier for us; it gets tougher. So we got to get ready for the next one.
Tom, Derrick's talked about how he's a different player now, and he's kind of matured and evolved. And obviously, he's never scored 50 before. But is there any point in that performance where even you think back a little bit to the earlier days in Chicago and what it was like watching him then?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, and again, I've followed him pretty closely. Obviously, my time with him, but even the times where I haven't been his coach, I've always, if we weren't playing, I'd watch his games. So I know the type of player that he is, and I also know the type of person that he is. So, and that's why I thought he would be such a good fit for us.
But one of the reasons Derrick played so much was Tyus got hurt before the game. What's his status there, and what's the status of Teague after the MRI?
Yeah, and again, I think Jeff has to have another checkup. We think it's a bruise, but we want to make sure. So he's day to day. The Tyus thing was unusual because he was fine this morning. And then he went through his warm-up before the game. He did his complete warm-up, but then he felt something funny in his foot. So he went to see the doc, and they just thought that sitting this one out was the best thing to do.
You watched Derrick play tonight, this year, really, and do you ever watch him and think, wow, how do we get this guy at such a value?
Pardon?
How do we get this guy at such a value?
Yeah, it's sometimes it just works out that way. And, the guy's gone from being, a 22-year-old MVP to, going through all kinds of stuff last year, where he got traded, they got waived, and, and I thought he played great for us in the playoffs. I thought the year before in New York, I watched a lot of those games. I could tell you he played well that year. And so, just watching how he carries himself, how he works, and just seeing he's different now. He's 29 years old. So I think anyone, when you look back from 22 to 29, there's a lot of lessons that you learn during that time, and I think he has. And so he's handled the ups really well, and he's handled the downs well, and it's not easy to go through 3 consecutive years of rehab. And he's done that, and he's come out on the other side. And I shared this with him last year. I said, in every story, there's a beginning, a middle, and the end, and I think the end's going to be great for him.
Is his role still 26, 28 minutes head of the second unit, do you think?
We'll see how many guys we have next game. Yeah, to answer your question, I like that. I actually really like the way our bench has played a lot, and I also liked, seeing CJ and James out there, and Josh this has been good for us in some ways. Obviously I'd like to have all our guys all the time, but just getting them out there and them getting some experience, I think is really good.
Tom, just lastly, did you have to check with Derrick in the fourth quarter at all? How you doing? Do you have enough left in the tank to finish this?
He comes by and he tells me, I'm good. I said, all right, I'm good too then.